Well, good morning, everyone. It just happens to be Tuesday morning, the day after the snowstorm, or maybe 2 days after the snowstorm. But as you can see here in the state of good old Virginia, we've still got blizzard conditions. Check this out. I can just barely walk on top of this stuff, you guys, and break my foot through the top of that snow. It's either that or crash or burn. Now, what I'm going to do this morning, you guys, is go down here to my workshop and start a fire in the workshop so that that building can get warmed up just in case we have a power outage. So far, we have been blessed and not had a power outage this particular time. Other people over in the eastern Virginia, they have been thousands of them have been without power now for 2 days straight in a row. But if you take a look around me, check this out. Now this stuff is funny until you got to work in it, or you got to feed your animals in it, keep them alive. But that's what it looks like. Let me turn the camera around and just let you walk around here just a minute or two, just for the curiosity of it. Over on that tree over there, you can see my bird feeder. You can see birds going in there to get them some seeds. As you can see the kids' playhouse. And there's Mama's she shed up there. But you can hear that snow crunching under my feet. And of course you can see my chimney. I've got the old Fisher fired up. So that's what my weather's looking like. I don't know what it's looking like in your neck of the woods, but we will generally have one of these snowstorms per year, but last year we didn't have one like this. We only had like about 1 inch of snow. It didn't last 24 hours. So it reminds me of the old days when we had snow like this all winter long. It did this all winter long. I mean, from October on up to March. This is the way it would be here in the mountains of Virginia. And you know, I know people down south ain't never seen no snow, man. That really is pretty. Well, I've got plenty of it, guys. Bring your trucks, your snow shovels. You can load up all you want. Let's go inside the workshop here. Oh, it's still pretty warm in here. I had a fire in here last night, you guys. I've been working in here. It's a little trashy looking. Sorry about that. That do feel good, you all. What's the temperature in here? Temperature is 28 degrees at the present time. We gotta have us a cup of coffee. It's enough right there to make us a cup. I tell you what, you all, they said this stuff was going to be over by midnight last night, but I think the good Lord had a little bit different idea on that, don't you? Sometimes they just don't get it right. Man, that do feel good, you all. She's coming on. Looks like that coffee's just about ready too. Let me get that stuff down off there before it gets too hot. Let's settle down there a minute. Get my Vienna sausages over here. Looks like they're just about getting ready to get done too. Got me some Texas Pete there for them. I like my Texas Pete along with other kinds of hot sauce, don't you guys? Reminds me of the old days, you guys. Back in the old days, I'm always saying that stuff now because I'm old. Back in the old days, I trapped for 10 years, guys, in weather just like this right here, only worse. It would snow in the 1980s, the early 1980s every year. It'd have that trap line all fouled up the whole dadburn time. But you know what? I still run that trap line and caught lots of foxes and raccoons and stuff like that. Animals will get out once it start, the weather stops, and they've got to eat just like anybody else does. So they just get out there and do their thing. So I run me a trap line for 10 years to make a living back in the 1980s to supplement the living anyway. And it sure did come in handy. But now I don't do that anymore because, shoot, it takes more money to go out here and get something and skin it out than the hide's worth when you take it to the fur buyer. So it ain't worth trapping no more here in the state of Virginia. But one of the reasons that it's not is because the fur is not as good as it used to be. If you don't have cold winters like this constantly, the animal's fur does not come out and get really super, long and soft. There's a difference between the hair on an animal and the fur that comes out in the wintertime. In the wintertime, they've got that nice, silky, long, fluffy fur that comes out on them. In other words, they're wintertime ready. So that's just one of the reasons that I don't trap anymore. We don't have the constant cold weather that the animal needs to have a really good coat. And that really does make a difference when you take your animal to the fur buyer and it either has, a good coat on it or not a good. Well, I'll tell you one thing now, Texas Pete, as soon as you open it up, man, it's going to unstop your dadburn sinuses. For sure. Look at that Alcatraz cup. You all didn't know I'd been in the penitentiary, did you? In the lockup. Alcatraz. Reminds me of back in the old days when I was in the 82nd Airborne, you guys. We used to take sea rations. Old nasty sea rations, which they was really good food, but in the wintertime or in the summertime, either one, we got ready to cook them. We had a big old military gamma goat that we rode around in sometimes, and we would take them sea rations and put them on the manifold of that vehicle and cook them before we opened them up. That way you didn't have to go out there and build you one of them little hole fires, little fire, hole in the ground, put your stuff under it to cook it. That is excellent. And the temperature has went up in here to 49 degrees. So she's going up. Now I've got the curtain closed on this room right here too. It can get up in the 90s real quick in here. But since my generator my standby generator that I use to keep the refrigerators and the lights turned on over at the house is in this building, in this critical weather like this, I heat the room up so that the thing will be easier to start naturally. But you can't beat good Vienna sausages, can you? That stove is getting really good and hot. We'll cut that thing down now, you guys. So how you all been faring during this weather, if you got any of this kind of weather? I know down south some of the people got lots of rain and a whole lot of wind and a lot of wind damage. But for us folks up north that got the snow and the ice pretty much melted off of the trees yesterday, but the trees started falling yesterday evening. When the ice was melting off of it, they were just really heavy laden with ice. And then the wind started picking up and the trees started falling. And you wouldn't think there'd be a tree left to fall since a hurricane blowed through here. But these pine trees especially get that stuff on them. And man, it'll break them over. Good stuff. I even see the sun trying to break through out there. They said it would sometime this morning. We were supposed to be on the tail end of this thing at midnight last night, but apparently it got clogged up somewhere and slowed down. I don't know. Sun's shining through that window now, which is a good sign. These kids will get to go back to school maybe tomorrow, little rascals. But anyway, you guys, this is just some of the things that I do. In the comment section there, comment and tell me what you do to get prepared for a snowstorm, if you ever get one. Because snow is pretty. I'm just going to remind you people down south, snow is pretty till it ain't. It is beautiful till it ain't. And when you've lived as long as I have and have shoveled 1,000,000 tons of it by hand, snow ain't pretty no more. Snow and ice just ain't pretty when you have to shovel that stuff and move it out of your way to get it to do, go somewhere. But that's the way it's looking right now, guys. I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you hanging out with me a little while, goofing off. Appreciate all the likes and I got since I put that video up about the snowstorm there, you guys, I got 300 new subscribers. I appreciate you people who shared that video. It's got, this morning I think it had like maybe 13,000 views on it, and that's pretty good for my channel. Anyway, you guys, I really do appreciate it. Apologize last night I couldn't go live because of the internet, and if you see this video right here, it's because the internet's working. So that's just what happens in the snow up here when you got Skyfly internet. Sometimes that stuff gets covered up, the charging stations don't work, and then your signal gets really, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you're watching me and you see this going round and round and round, you know something ain't right. So anyway, may the good Lord bless you guys. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.